The release of the new Prado 250 has left Toyota fans a little bit disappointed in some regards. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you around a couple of Toyotas that we have here in our North Oz HQ, and I'm going to be showing you some of the good times that Toyota have given us in the past with other vehicles. So if you're not really in the market of buying the new Prado 250, maybe have a look at these vehicles instead. So stick around, it's going to be a good one. In the future, I will be going through every vehicle that we have in our stable at the moment. But for now, we're just going to be focusing on the FJ Cruiser and the Prado 150 wheelback that you can see over there tied up to a caravan. So for now, we're going to be talking about the Prado 150 and the FJ Cruiser and how they can actually serve your needs instead of a Prado 250, instead of getting a new Prado. So in terms of looks and in terms of something that's a little bit funky and, something that's a little bit different, and a lot of people like the look of the new Prado 250, but the look of these FJ Cruisers, in my opinion, actually isn't that far off the 250. And it has kind of a bit of a retro look going. It's also got, nice big tires. I mean, those are stock tires, so you can go a lot wider and a lot bigger than the tires that I've got on there. And it looks funky, it looks cool. They were built very differently as well to a lot of the other vehicles at the time. A lot of people think that they're basically a Prado 150, but they were built completely different, and they have been engineered completely different as well. So they do look a lot different. They also have a lot of clearance as well. As you can see, this is all completely stock, this vehicle, not lifted at all. And you can see just how much clearance that you have underneath here. So if you want to do a little bit of, serious off-roading, then this will be the vehicle for you. If you want something that's a little bit different and a little bit of a play thing, this would be right up your alley. So, instead of getting a Prado 250, you could absolutely, especially for the price of the new ones that are going these days, you could absolutely get one of these and also the Prado 150. That's in the back there. So I'm going to be showing you around my FJ Cruiser to start off with. So we'll open it up. Gives you a funky little beep beep. And like I said, it does look pretty cool. It's got a little bit of flair going on with the side view mirrors and comically large door handle. And on the inside here, you get color matching panels. And it is a huge interior. Something that not a lot of people know about these vehicles is that the front seats have a huge amount of room. Now, while there isn't a lot of room in the back, and I've got the back completely flat, which again is something that the Prado 250 is missing, but it gives you a huge amount of room in the front. And a lot of people in the new Prado 250s have been complaining that there isn't much room in those second row of seats anyway for people in the back. So this, for me, is a perfect vehicle for someone who has got two people in there. You're not doing much towing, which, if you're not doing much towing, then why really bother looking for a tow vehicle anyway? You might as well get something that you're comfortable in, that looks cool, that can do a lot of off-roading. And this, for me, is that vehicle. So it's pretty funky. It's got a lot of really cool, features in there, especially like the matching colors. So if you get a blue one, you actually get blue interior, and you got all sorts of cool little hidden features like this little cubby in here, and you get a matching one on the other side. You also get things like inclinometers and all sorts of awesome stuff in here that just new vehicles are missing. On the interior here, you also get quite a lot of, cool features. Like you get this little roof console here that gives you A-Track, which is a really awesome traction control system. You've got your rear diff lock, which again is something that is not included on a lot of these new Prados. You get crawl control. So, you get a lot of really, really cool features in this FJ Cruiser that you just don't get in a lot of the older vehicles. You can turn off things like your parking sensors, and you've got a huge amount of 12-volt accessories in here. So you can actually open up the back in a second, I'll show you, but you've got a huge amount of 12-volt in here. So if you want to be running fridges and anything else that you desire, you can absolutely power whatever your 12-volt needs are. So these things are really cool. They've got a lot of really cool features to them. If you want to see a full walk around of this vehicle, make sure you go ahead and check out the video for that. I will leave it at the end of this video. But for now, let's go around to the back and we'll have a look and see how this vehicle can serve your needs a little bit better than the Prado 250. While I remember this one thing as well, is a lot of people complain about all of the beeps and all the safety tech that is on a new Prado 250. But these things, these FJ Cruisers, they do not beep at all. And that's probably like one thing that I really like about the vehicles that we have here, is that they beep very, very little. Unfortunately, the newer the vehicle, the more it beeps, unfortunately. But with these vehicles here, they beep so little. Like, you can do so many things in this vehicle without it beeping at you. You can even turn off things like I mentioned, the parking sensors, with just a push of the button. You don't need to go into menus and fiddle around. So that's just something that I really appreciate about this. Lots of tactile buttons and knobs and stuff like that. So yeah, that's exactly what I want out of a vehicle. Easy to use, everything at a touch of a button, and everything at arm's length. Like, you can't ask for anything more than what you have here. So moving around to the back now, and what you guys will find is the wheel on the back and not underneath. So it does, again, give you a little bit more clearance and does make things a little bit easier for you off-road, so you're not going to get stuck in the sand as easily. So the wheel on the back is pretty easy to get to. In the back here, you've got a little window that pops open, and look at this, guys. You have got a really, really flat back area that you can put a drawer system on, and as you can see, it is not high off the ground at all. So this is pretty much in line with the very bottom of the door. You're not having any additional height here for seats or anything like that. There's no batteries or anything under here, and in fact, you've got two 12-volt setups here, two 12-volt outputs or inputs there that you can hook up into for things like your fridges and any other 12-volt accessories that you want to run. So there is a lot of storage in these vehicles. Not a lot of people know that, and you have got a really, really flat back area that you can deck out however you like. So if you guys are looking for a bit more of a fun car, then the FJ is going to be your pick, and it does look a little bit different to a lot of other vehicles out there, especially with the white roof and the retro design of it a little bit too. Now, it is raining at the moment, so we probably won't get a chance to have a full look at the Prado 150. Now, this is our Prado 150, and excuse the sound of water, but we do have a little bit of rain around at the moment. But this is our Prado 150, and it's just a really basic, simple to use, just like our FJ Cruiser. Really easy to use area. We've got everything at the touch of a button. There's so many parts available for these vehicles as well, just makes them so easy to modify. We've got some, basic roof racks on the top there as well, and, just everything is just so easy to modify on these vehicles. So in the front here, we've just got some seat covers, and it's just basic. It just works. Nice big center console there, and it's just a comfy place to be. We do have some complaints about the seats. It's not for everyone. Some people have issues with them. I always had issues with them with my back. My dad has the same concern, but some people, they don't have any issues, and there is lumbar support and adjustment in these seats as well. So that just comes as standard, guys. Like, this is a GXL model, not the top of the range, and it comes stock with all of that full adjustability of those seats. So a pretty impressive place to be in, especially given that this is not a top of the range model. This is just the GXL, which is second from the bottom of the range. And on that same point, it kind of seems like these days you need to buy the top of the range model just to get the same features that you used to get on a almost close to the bottom of the range vehicle. So I'm not quite sure what the go is with that. I mean, you should be able to get standard things these days, especially with the availability of technology and patents and all that sort of stuff. Like, if they're able to put things like, lumbar adjustable seats on a GXL model, why wouldn't they do the exact same thing on the new Prado? That to me is just a little bit interesting. I'd like to hear your thoughts down in the comment section as well. And guys, over here you can see that this is actually the height. So let me just show you guys here. That is the height of how close to the bottom that our rear seats sit, on that ledge. So those rear seats actually sit, and I have done a video where I've taken apart the whole rear assembly, not on this vehicle, but I've taken apart the entire rear of this vehicle to be able to fit a drawer system in my flatback 150, and I have freed up even more room down here. But that just goes to show you how small of a space that it takes up in these older 150s for those retracting seats, and those seats are still comfortable. There was still nothing wrong with them in that back area. So this vehicle still has the rear seats in there, those seats 6 and 7, and it is not an imposition at all to be able to stack, as Dad has here. Mum and Dad have stacked some stuff up up in the back here, and you can see that it's not an in position at all, and it's still reasonably, you know, low to the ground. You can still reach everything, even with having those rear seats in there without having to take them out. So we also have in the back here, it's a little bit of a mess at the moment, but that's just how it goes, isn't it? And we've got this really cool like molly rack system and a shelf that runs across here as well, just because there is just so many aftermarket options available for these vehicles. And you've got a little bit of first aid on the side here as well. So that just gives you guys a little bit of an idea as to, you know, how these older Prado 150s were built. I think a lot of us getting caught up on how the new ones are built and don't really remember back to how the old 150s were built. And they were built really well, really solid, and they actually made a lot of sense. They were built for practicality and not for looks and for trying to serve, you know, some sort of hybrid purpose that seems to be the theme of every vehicle built today. All I wanted to really say with the Prado 150 is that, you know, you've got a huge amount of room in the back there. Even though it has got the extra seats 6 and 7 in the back, there is a huge amount of room in that back area, and we have decked it out with a pretty cool little system that allows you to put molly packs and all sorts of things in there. So there is still a lot of room in the back there. You've also got, you know, this is going to be your sensible vehicle for getting the family, you know, around the place, and you've also got a bit of towing capacity there as well. Yeah, sure, not as much as the new Prado, but still definitely tows, you know, more than what we need. And you can see that, guys, you know, it is a very sensible vehicle. It's got a huge fuel capacity as well. You know, fuel capacity, again, is another thing that people are concerned about on the Prado 250. But on my, on my old FJ Cruiser here, the older one, it has got 160 liters of fuel capacity and gets well over 1,000 kilometers out of a tank. So yeah, and same thing here with our Prado 150. It has a huge fuel capacity. So especially when towing, where it just kind of brings down that fuel capacity a bit, fuel economy isn't that great. Having that extra bit of fuel capacity does help out quite a lot. And, you know, like if you're looking at the new Prado 250 and you're towing with that reduced fuel capacity, it really does hurt on those longer trips where you have to keep refueling, especially if you are towing something heavy like a caravan, for example. So, you know, the Prado 150 that we have here is just really great just for that practicality. You know, you can carry easily 7 people, and, you know, if you don't want to carry 7 people, just flatten out that little back area and you have got a huge space to put a drawer system or anything that you want, even on top of those seats, which you cannot do right now because that back area on the Prado 250 is basically unusable without modification. So the last thing people want to be doing is getting a new Prado and having to modify it straight away, because that could affect things like warranty as well. So you could get easily a 5-ish year old, maybe 10-year-old Prado 150. You can get a 10-year-old FJ Cruiser, all for the price of a new Prado 250. So that kind of gives you guys a little bit of an idea as to what I'm thinking, and, you know, kind of, well, you know, you guys could have 2 vehicles for the price of one of the new ones. And guys, these are Toyotas, you know, like this FJ Cruiser has done like 70,000 kilometers. You know, you could get a Prado 150 with about 100,000 Ks on it, and which is basically a brand new car. And even then, you still would not come up to the price of a brand new, especially the top of the range anyway, brand new Prado 250, and you would still have 2 vehicles, one for fun and one for doing literally everything. So that's just some food for thought for you guys. We've got our FJ Cruiser here and we're absolutely loving it. We've also got our Prado 150, and, you know, guys, like I said in the last couple of videos, that we are considering upgrading to the new Prado 250, so we have to have a look at those, you know, models in the earlier kind of base model ones. We're not too convinced about the ones that are kind of higher in the spec range, so we need to have a look at some of the lower base model variants to make up our mind. But for now, guys, this kind of gives you a bit of an idea as to what you could get for the same price as a new Prado 250. You could get yourself a 150, and you could also get yourself an FJ Cruiser, and you'd probably still have a little bit of money left over after having a look at the price of those new Prado 250s. So keep that in mind as you guys are making your purchases, that, you know, just because it's a new car, it also doesn't mean that it's going to serve your needs. So you could get a couple of second-hand vehicles for the price of one new vehicle, especially these days with the price of everything going up. And, you know, something to think about is that these FJ Cruisers, when they were brand new, they were only around 46 grand when they were released. So that's something to consider as well, is that you could buy a really nice, you know, vehicle back in the day, even though it was only like 8 years ago. you know, you could get a vehicle like this and, you know, it only cost you, you know, around mid 40 grand. So that's like something to consider as well, is that the price of everything has doubled these days. And yeah, you know, and just because things are new doesn't mean that they're better. So have a think about your needs and what you want out of a vehicle. And it may end up being that you could buy 2 second-hand vehicles for the price of 1 new vehicle. So that concludes my little rant for the day about our FJ Cruiser and our Prado 150 and how maybe buying some second-hand vehicles instead, and I use the word vehicles because you could easily get a couple of second-hand vehicles for the price of these new Prado 250s, they may be a better option than buying a brand new car, especially with Toyotas, their reliability, especially if they're older vehicles and the older engines, they're just bulletproof. So I have absolute confidence in my second-hand Toyota, especially the FJ Cruiser. We bought the Prado 150 new a couple of years ago, but you know, our second-hand FJ Cruiser, it goes really well. It's only done about 70,000 Ks and it drives like a brand new car. So you know, maybe there is a lot of value out there on the second-hand market. Is again kind of one of the points of this video, is that there's a lot of value out there on that second-hand market. So make sure you have a look around on there. You know, have a look at some of the Toyota certified vehicles as well. There's some surprisingly good deals out there on them. Have a look at your Facebook marketplace as well for some good private deals, and you can get, you know, some really nice FJ Cruisers for around that kind of $30,000, and they do hold their value quite well, especially if it's a low kilometer model like the one I have here. So you know, you have around 30 grand, you can kind of get yourself a really nice example. But also with the Prado 150s, because they sold so many of them, they are still a Toyota, so they hold their value quite well. But you can get them, you know, that 100,000 kilometer mark, and you could easily get yourself 2 really nice examples of something like an FJ Cruiser if you just want to have a little bit of fun and do some off-roading in it, deck it out a little bit for some off-road trips, and do some, you know, rock crawling and stuff like that. They're really capable vehicles. And you know, you can also get yourself a Prado 150 for literally everything else, and you'll still be under the price of a new Prado 250. So guys, that's the end of today's video. If you have any comments, chuck them down below, and I look forward to seeing them and replying to them, and I'll see you very shortly in the next video. Take care.